formulated. The biggest trick is hopelessness when we're promoting truth and justice and honor, and we can't just dial into demons.
Can't just do that. Not for the reasons he's saying. All right, almost ready. What delightful music, right? It's delightful. It's just so nice sounding. All right, let me get going here. All right, how's everybody doing? Wait, no, Kevin, the music, you gotta stop the... Kevin, can you... Oh my good God. Just stop the thing. Thank you. My God. You know, I mean, it's good music and all, but it's like, come on, you know, it's time to start now. So we gotta start. All right, so there's this Alex Jones... So I was gonna say an Alex Jones clip. I mean, it is technically an Alex Jones clip, but it is a Tucker Carlson clip. Because of course he had Alex Jones on, because you know he's just gone full batshit. I don't know, you know, he doesn't even care anymore, it seems. But the crazy thing is, now that he's gone full crazy, he's been right more than ever. You know, criticizing Israel. So is Marjorie Taylor Greene somehow. Like, she's out there, you know, pointing out the genocide, which I'm kind of surprised about that. It's like, what the hell is even happening? So everything's kind of gone crazy. Everything is upside down. But all right, let's take a look at this. This is, like I said, Tucker Carlson had Alex Jones on his channel. So I'm just curious if they're going to get into. Of course, they're talking about the Antichrist because, you know, of course they are.
Do you feel like people are talking about God and spiritual matters more than they did 10 years ago? I mean, clearly they are. Where's that going?
Then why'd you ask? Like, what was that? Do you think that people are talking about God more now than before? I'll answer it for you. Yes, they are, clearly.
I saw you with a guest a few weeks ago talk about, this is well known. I talked to everybody that's done it. I haven't done it. Almost everyone that takes DMT, either from the toad or the ayahuasca plant.
Got to do it from the toad, okay? The coolest people out licking toads, okay? Some plant. Get your pansy ass out of here. Just get over here and lick a toad like an adult.
These creatures show up that look like court gestures or, you know, space aliens, different things, and say, there are too many humans. You need to wipe.
Did he just say they look like court jesters or aliens? You know, what did he say? Hold on.
These creatures show up that look like court gestures or, you know, space aliens, different things, and say,
they look like court jesters? What are they like? They got like tentacles coming off the top of their head? They're like a predator. Is that what it is? But like bigger one. They're like, no, they're like that thing from remember in Star Wars when they go to Jabba the Hutt, right? They go there and he's got that Le Jabba no bother. Remember that guy? You know, he had those, whatever the hell those things are sticking out of his head. Kind of like a court jester. Was that what they were emulating? Is that what he was supposed to be?
There are too many humans. You need to wipe out the population. Then you'll become gods. It's the same message. And they've had groups of people. They've done studies.
You need to wipe out. You need to.
Yeah, if you want to subscribe, just going to throw that up there on the screen. If you want to hit the like button or subscribe, I'm actually cool with either one or both or neither. I mean, rather not neither, but
Kill people so you can become God.
Yes, you need to depopulate and you need to transcend.
Do you know people who've heard that message?
Oh, absolutely. They've had whole groups and studies.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I kind of like sidetracked on the whole Star Wars thing. What the fuck is he saying?
Aliens, different things, and say, there are too many humans. You need to wipe out the population. Then you'll become gods. It's the same message. And they've had groups.
Wait, okay. How did I not hear that a second ago? Jesus, boy, do I get like sidetracked. Okay. They said these creatures came down and they're like, there's too many humans. We need to depopulate. We need to just get we need to get all of yous just the hell out of here. And then we'll be gods. That's what he's saying? There's too many of you guys for us to be gods. So, we can, there's an easy way for us to correct this. It's not have so many of yous, and then we could be gods somehow, because, that's not a non sequitur at all.
People, they've done studies.
You need to wipe out. You need to kill people so you can become God.
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Even Tucker's like, hold on. You need to, how does that work?
Depopulate and you need to transcend.
Do you know people who've heard that message?
Oh, absolutely. They've had whole groups and studies that have had group hallucinations of this.
What?
Can I mean,
did he just say, do you know people who have heard this? Like, what, first of all, what kind of question is that? And then second of all, what? What is he saying? There's probably, there's group hallucinations of this stuff. Well, then was it a group hallucination? Why would you describe it like it's a group hallucination if you think it actually happened? That it wouldn't be a hallucination. They would have just been seeing a thing.
I don't know. I'm not the most spiritually sensitive person. I'm hardly a theologian. But if some demon is telling you to kill people so you can become God, like, we can say that's bad, right?
No, you can't say that's bad. No, absolutely no. No, that's a positive. Those are good. What?
Absolutely. And the people that then, you're talking about tech heads who, microdose and are big in hallucinations and big into hallucinogenics. When they get more advanced and deep into it, and then most of them have talked about this, then the things start giving them more ideas and explaining the system they're going to build, the AI, the takeover, and this new species, and how, again, you're going to transcend death. And so we've all got to have a larger question there. So they say the devil's greatest trick.
I have so many questions that are each kind of getting larger, as I ask them. What, man? Like, there was so much. He like says stuff that's just like throwaway, and it's like the most batshit insane nonsense. But he just keeps on going. He acts like he didn't just say it. Like, hold on, don't act like you didn't just say that.
And how, again, you're going to transcend death.
Transcend death? No clarification from Tucker. Where are you at on that? You don't want to get him to clarify on that.
And so we've all got to have a larger question there. So they say the devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. I think that's his second biggest trick.
Yeah, that's third and a half, 3.5 John 17, verse 17.
I think convincing the world that good doesn't exist is the devil's biggest trick.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. And if you want to make noises like Tucker just now, go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word, Brentley, and check out. Get yourself 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley. Okay, sorry. He was just like, yes.
Can you flat? I think that I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, but I know that you're telling the truth right now. Can you
Could you do
Well, convincing us that there isn't anybody good and that you don't have power and that it's all over and we are the Borg, you will be assimilated. The biggest trick is hopelessness when we're promoting truth and justice and honor, and we can't just dial into demons and fallen angels.
How can they sit there? This is so crazy. How can they sit there and be saying that they're the hopeless ones? These two are Republicans. They have literally everything they could fucking want. They have all three branches of government and a president that's literally just not even going through any of the processes that that all presidents are supposed to go through in order to get stuff done. No, he just does his own thing. And hey, he's got all three branches of government and the Supreme Court. Who gives a shit, right? When you got that much power, what, rules? What? No, only immigrants have to follow rules. That's how that goes. And rules that we changed like at the last second so that we could side tackle you at your own fucking court hearing. Anyway,
we can also dial into God and get that message, but you first have to recognize that good and evil exist.
Yes.
And once you recognize that we are ethereal beings, that we are just manifesting ourselves in the third dimension, that all these people that are even atheists have these near-death experiences that come back with the same message. I mean, I personally in my life, have had so many times where I'm literally told something and it comes true and it just comes from God. And so I know this is.
I bet. Okay. God, again, so much stuff. He just breezes over. What the hell was he talking about? Like all those people that are even atheists that have near-death experiences that report the same. Like, what is he talking about? Is he trying to say that like a bunch of atheists have had near-death experiences and so they all decided that Christianity was true? Or what? Like, or that we just are ethereal creatures or whatever? Like, because earlier he was talking about DMT, right? Which DMT, there are like skeptical people that have had experiences with DMT where they're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I had like what would easily be described as a spiritual experience because that's like the part of the brain that DMT like activates. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's what he was referring to. That's not a near-death experience. It's just a experience, a drugged out experience. But maybe he thinks it's the same thing. I don't know.
Real. We are a lot more complex than just what our eyes and ears and taste and touch pick up. And when you really actually study the globalists, none of them are atheists. They're into the occult.
Exactly.
And they believe they're interfacing, even at Skull and Bones. At Yale, they get in these coffins for days. They try to get.
Yeah, they're all Christians, man. Like he's like, they're into the occult. The globalists or whatever, if he's talking about like the wealthiest people or whatever, people with the most power on planet Earth, they're all Christians, man.
These spirits to come into them. They try to channel these spirits. You've got the heads of Skull and Bones there in the last few days seeing who's able to interface with this. These are real rituals that are part of activating parts of the mind so that people can see past the veil. And again, they've now been able with robots and computers and wires in the brain, as Elon's talked about decades ago, this was already done. Your eyes narrow the light spectrum because there's so much going on that if you saw the infrared and everything else, it'd be too confusing. But now with hallucinogens and other things, they've been able to prove that people can actually see past the veil into basically other dimensions. And
yeah, you know what's happening here. Here's the thing that like drugs do to the brain. They don't. They make you think that things are true that aren't true, but it's not stuff like that. It's like, yeah, they make it seem like LSD makes it see into a different dimension. Nope. You're just on drugs, but I get why you think that because, I've done that stuff too. Yeah, that's I'm seeing other dimensions right now. Oh my God. I'm in Peacemaker's like closet thing that he's got going on. Jesus Christ.
So that's really what this is. And we have to admit to ourselves that what we see and taste and touch and everything is a very small piece of actually what's going on. And that's that wider world. And people have to, once they understand.
With Mel Gibson, the movie that they spent so much money on and didn't make any of it back? What? Hold on. I got to hear what he said again.
Taste and touch and everything is a very small piece of actually what's going on. And that's that wider world. And people have to, once they understand.
Wider world. I'm sorry. I thought he said water world. But anyway.
We see and taste and touch and everything is a very small
is he repeating?
Piece of actually what's going on. And that's that wider world. And people have to, once they understand that there is this wider battle going on, then you realize, oh my God, God's real. I better choose God or I better choose the devil. And
I better choose God or maybe the devil. This is a tough call, really. I mean, there's only two choices, bipartisan politics, you know what I mean? It's bullshit, really. We need more entities to pick from.
people are kind of embedded into this and just grow up in it. And just with the corporate media and life, they get trained into the evil side, never knowing they really had a choice. But almost everybody, if they're given a choice early enough, will choose God that right way. The problem is the system on earth knows that. So the priest class in Christianity or Islam or Judaism, any of it, most of it's bad priests, bad churches who know the power's there, know people are looking for God, know they're seeking. So they're there basically to get the power from you instead of you basically transcending spiritually. And so that's why Christ talked about the relationship with God is personal.
Yes.
And the kingdom of God is with.
Yes. He's like, I don't think that was a yes or no question, man. He was just sort of still talking. But oh no, I got you to tell. Yeah, sorry. I always forget. I always forget about Discord. I got to go in there and check that stuff. I usually do it, I don't know, once a week or whatever. I go through Discord. I'm not, I'm not on the internet very much. I know I need to get back into that.
Than us. The New Agers go, oh, you are God. No, kingdom of God is within us. We're made in God's image. We have the potential to know God, to interface with God. That's worship God. And then through that, begin to transcend to a higher consciousness, interfacing with God, not God, but with God, and then part of God.
What? He looks as confused as I am, which is saying something.
So the gift is to see good. Like in that, I do think that's the trick. Because, no one needs a tutorial on evil. It's all around us. It's super obvious. It no longer disguises itself. Abortion for the sake of abortion? Like, what is that? It's human sacrifice.
What? Like, again, man, y'all need to cite your sources or just like maybe make a reference that we can understand. I mean, I know that y'all watch a lot of weird shit, but you just like saying, yeah, abortion's for abortion's sake. Like, who's doing that? You mean abortions because, they don't want to take care of a kid that they don't want to take care of? We shouldn't force people to do that because that's not good for kids. Like, I would say anyway, please don't have kids if you don't want to have kids. Don't do that. That's a bad day for everybody, especially the goddamn kids.
Canaanite. And
the DNC doing abortions inside of
completely for the sake of abortion, not to improve the life of the girl or she's a 14-year-old rape victim. It's just like, no, abortion is inherently good because it's killing a person. That is all out in the open now. Nobody is confused about its existence.
Awesome. Thank you, Gisela. No, that's cool. I don't want to miss opportunities. I like opportunities typically. I don't know what it's for exactly, but still don't want to miss it.
You don't get a lot of is the recognition that good is a more than equal. It's a larger and opposing force. God is bigger than Satan, and you don't get that.
I swear they sound like children. Just and God is bigger, and gooder, than Satan, who's not good. He's not. He's bad. He's bad. Yeah.
Sense like nobody talks about that. You don't see it. How do you find that?
So many people purposely get turned off of the system by going to a church, whether it's Catholic, Protestant, any of it. And I'm a very empathic person. So growing up, I would feel at churches and you get invited here or there, really creeped out.
Wait, did he just say he's empathic? Like with the root word being empathy? The guy that's like harassed the victims of mass shootings? Really? He's like, I'm an empathy guy. I am, I empathize out here. I just happen to harass people who have had their kids taken away through an evil, disgusting tragedy, but I can profit off of it. So, I have empathy. No, that's my point here.
Not by the parishioners, but by the people in the system that are trained, because
that is for sure.
And if you want to make more Tucker noises, like, that's it, then just go to adamandeve.com, enter code word friendly. Yeah, that's it. I was just doing that real quick. That's all. Yeah, we're good. That was good.
Where I feel the strongest demonic energy is in a lot of these big churches and a lot of these big things, because that's
Me too. Especially Catholic churches. Man, those things are fucking terrifying. It's almost like there's an entire horror genre of movies based around that particular religion specifically.
where the devil's sending his forces, and it's energetic. And so, but Christ criticized the Pharisees, Sadducees, constantly said, you go pray up on the hill in front of everybody. You talk about how perfect you are all day.
Was pray spelled with an EY or an AY? It's hard to tell with Christians. Gonna be honest.
But really, you're of your father, the devil, in the synagogue of Satan. Or you call it your Sabbath or
The synagogue of Satan, you know, is their own thing.
whatever. And it happens in Christian churches, happens in Judaism, it happens everywhere. And if you look at later Judaism, it's not just the Old Testament, the Torah, there's over 30 other books that they say, you know, the rabbinical teachings are just as important. And it runs the gamut from some sects that you could call very pious and close to God to others that are outright Satanism. And you see that in the Christian denominations, all the things that call
The
themselves.
Christian denominations that are outright Satanism. I know. That's the what, man? That's not a what? How could it be a Christian religion that's outright Satan? I feel like you don't understand how these two things can't go together.
Christian, you know, that really are. Christ said, beware things, call themselves of God, but are not, or the synagogue of Satan. Well, there weren't Christian churches then, the churches were synagogues, but it goes for synagogues, churches, anything that you got to be really close to God and the Holy Spirit, lest you be deceived. And so
God,
that's
imagine, like, it's amazing to me that they have to have this like built in, like, everything is bullshit that's not the right shit, but nobody can tell what the right shit is. So everybody just thinks everybody else's thing is the bullshit version of the Christianity, because there's like 45,000 different denominations. And so everybody can just sort of decide that all the other thousands of denominations, they're the Satan ones. Mine's the one that's not Satan. But the people of all the rest of them all think that theirs is the right one. The other people are the Satan. Oh my God. But it's built in to the religion. Like, they put that in the Bible for that reason. So that way, like, everybody could be right, you know?
really where it all is. And it comes down to your spiritual inclination. But I just recommend,
Or not everybody be right. Everybody can think they're right and then think that everybody else is wrong and being deceived by the demons.
people personal relationship with God, praying to God, saying, I want to be good. I want to recognize truth. I want to know what truth is. I want to open myself up to you. I'm an imperfect. I repent for what I've done, and I want you to cleanse me and then show me the truth.
Yeah, we know the gospel. Oh my God. We've heard the gospel fucking thing. It's like I swear we're going to have to start drinking, like, whenever they do the gospel. They like, okay, everybody take a shot. They're doing the Christian summary here.
Truth, and then show me how to be a better person, and then show me after that what the mission is you have for me. And literally, if you
It's like it's a mission, you know, like the Bible's like, this Bible will self-destruct in 3 seconds. Your mission, if you choose to be a Christian, you will fight demons. I don't fucking know.
do that through a process, it may take days, may take months, may take years, then the adventure begins. And then all of a sudden you're being given like intel and stuff, like, and like literally just, you have to learn to go with it. It's never wrong. And it's God. And it's there, and it's your personal relationship. And then obviously people get this relationship, they all want to teach other people it, and God says get together in groups. That's great.
You want to teach other people it being the relationship? You want to teach other people the relationship? What?
But Christ didn't try to go get the
This is where
Sadducees.
it's where it's so stupid when they try to do the whole, it's not a religion, it's a relationship thing. That's the type of sentences that come out of their stupid face when they believe stupid shit like that. That's because they're like, equivocating definitions where it's like so obvious. They're like, they're like, oh no, it's not a religion, it's a relationship. Yeah, a relationship with the central character of a fucking religion, man. Like, that's why you're religious. God damn.
The Pharisees, the priest classes joined him. He said their minds were closed. He went to the prostitutes and the tax collectors and the robbers and the thieves because they were already outcast. But that's where he found people that were already under evil's control, but weren't arrogant about it, who were looking for a way out. And so,
But they were under evil's control, but they weren't, they were humbly under evil's control. which is really what you want. An arrogant person under evil control is just obnoxious. You know what I mean?
I think that's really what it comes down to, is a spiritual relationship with God. And there are some real churches and things.
But don't you find
There are some real churches and things. I love it. Oh, I don't know. Maybe like one or two can maybe get some stuff right, but they're not going to know all the stuff that I know because, I've done LSD and can see all the other dimensions. So I got it.
that? I know I have found that you see sparks of this in the most unlikely people. If you put a list on paper of the people in your life, I won't ask you to say it out loud, but who you really trust, or you talk
Just think about it in your silently in your mind, please.
to, and you groove with them, and they know exactly what you're saying. They are on the same wavelength in some deep way. It's not the people you would expect.
See,
Here's something you may not have known.
It's Alex Jones smoking right then, right there. You can see tongue. Okay, maybe not blow it directly in my face. I know it's weird that podcasts have to do this thing where we have to be right in each other's faces, for the mics to pick it up right or something. I don't know. Why do they have to always get so close? Does anybody know? They look so stupid when anybody goes on Joe Rogan. They're like noses are about to rub each other. Like you're gonna fucking Eskimo kiss each other. Oh, I'm sorry. Not that word. Inuit kiss. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's cut that. Yeah, cut the racism, please. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. My bad.
Back in 2015, the Congress of the United States repealed something. It may not actually be a USA designation. It's
What do we call those?
tastiest.
What do we call those kisses now? Do we have another? Is there another updated word for those kisses? Kids. Yep.
And they have great meat. These are Americans. These are American-made. 10, and you get an extra 10%.
Most people get into media because they want to be movie stars. Most people become a preacher because they want to, because they want to be famous and have power. And then you'll find just the most normal, unassuming person that has all this great knowledge.
Yes.
Because they already have all the power. They don't need power. And so it's just
They're connected to God's power. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
He's so lost. He's like, wait, because of God, because of Jesus thing, right? Is that what you're? Is that what you? I feel like I'm getting kind of lost here. I'm saying yes and pretending like I'm getting it, but I'm really not. So
and I mean it's quite the quest, because so many people are lost, and really it's an inside job. They got to somehow.
Damien said, monotheism makes people unstable. Really does. I would argue any of the theisms too, but yeah.
Open up the channel to God, and then they'll see everything that's happening, and then God will give them a message and a mission of what they should do. And I don't want to say all churches are bad. There's a lot of good people in the churches regardless. It's just that
what is this? What happened to Alex Jones as it applies to church? What is going on there? I thought that he was the Christian guy, man. He was the Christian conspiracy guy, right? I thought, no, but he's I don't know. Most churches are evil, though.
the last 120 years, the Rockefeller Foundation, the ecumenical movement, and all of that has really moved into the churches. We see that with all the rainbow flags and all, the famous,
all the frogs being gay and stuff,
cathedrals in England now festooned with all the leftists, graffiti and garbage. I mean, it's been captured, is my point. But people can't get turned off by that and say, well, God's dead. No. Satan has
stuff has to, in order for something to be dead, it had to be alive at some point. So, God can't be dead. He just he never was there, God just never was. That's what it is.
Occupied the so-called temples. But God isn't in the temple, God is inside us.
Do the temples get...
He just sort of stops and was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done talking for a few seconds.
Torn down? Do the last vestiges of the old civilization get erased and Christians start anew? What is this? How does this unfold?
What?
I think that's up to how God influences everybody. I think we could, over time, retake those things. But the Satanists and the leftists, the power hungry, They think if they can take over the skin of something and occupy it,
Yes.
that they can fool people.
Yes, I know about the leftists stealing people's skin and everything. Just Ed Geening it, just out here wearing people's faces and shit. Those goddamn leftists,
That are looking
always wearing skin
for God, but that's actually triggering the Great Awakening. So I think some of the buildings get torn down, some of the buildings get retaken. But at the end of the day, God's temple is with us.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
Right. So Westminster Abbey is not where God lives.
No.
No, that's so important to remember. Do you get discouraged?
Does anybody actually buy that he's ever being honest? Like, he just sounds like I cannot watch Tucker Carlson do these interviews and be like, yeah, he's being genuine here. He actually believes the things that he's saying right now. He does. Yes, he does. Like, everything sounds fake. Every single thing he says sounds like, I don't believe this, but I'm going to say it.
Ever think it's hopeless?
No, because it's all
Broke up. I did not pause that, by the way. Hold on. That was just dead air. Okay. That was not me.
Important to remember. Do you get discouraged? Do you ever think it's hopeless?
Do you ever get discouraged? Keep in mind, he just lost everything. He has to pay back like $4 billion or something like absurd fucking amount. It's like, or 1.4 billion. Still doesn't matter. Never going to make it in his lifetime ever, but he has to pay it back somehow.
So
Well, one more time. Sorry.
important to remember. Do you get discouraged? Do you ever think it's hopeless?
No, because it's all in God's plan, but I do get discouraged for individuals who kind of fall to evil. You see good people that fight evil for a while, but they get put under pressure, they get attacked,
Yeah.
they turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Boy, have I seen that.
I've seen
Because-
the pressure. Yeah.
It gets them ahead for a little while, and then you later see them destroyed.
Yeah, always. And their family's destroyed too.
And then later you see them destroy. Can we get some specifics here, y'all? Like, who the hell was destroyed? It's like later I saw them exploded. They were just body parts all over the ground, just a puddle of goo. Really? I mean, but
Yeah, so, and I get tempted by evil. Sometimes like a devil jumps into me. And I mean, by that,
and if you want a devil to just jump into you, well, you're bought. Just go to AdamandEve.com. Enter that code word, Brantley, and check out. Get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to AdamandEve.com. Enter that code word, Brantley. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that was a good one, right? The devil's jumping into your butt and stuff.
I'm just busy, I'm tired, I'm whatever. I catch myself, and I'm like, whoa. For a minute, I was like,
Okay, can we screenshot that? Yeah, Kevin, we're gonna need to screenshot that for the thumbnail. Did you see that? Hold on. No, I'm gonna pause it for you. I'm gonna pause it. Yeah, no, that way you really get a good idea of like what we need. Here.
sometimes like a devil jumps into me. And I mean,
Let's
by
see it.
that,
Let's
I'm
see it.
just busy, I'm tired, I'm whatever. And I catch myself, and I'm like, whoa.
Damn it, he does it so fast. Okay.
For a minute, I was like, turning into everything I'm trying to fight. So I'm not up here on some high horse, like I've got all the answers and I'm perfect. Because anybody empathic can, tune into different frequencies and
Yes.
things that are happening.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, your heart's what matters. King David did a lot of bad things and sent his best buddy off to get killed because he was lusting after his wife, but he really repented and got.
Was that his buddy? I didn't know that. I know he sent the lady that he wanted to have an affair with, her husband, he sent off to war or whatever, but he was friends with that guy. God, that makes it worse.
I said, you're a man from my own heart. So at the end of the day, it's where you point your soul. And so many Christians and some people that love God.
Are souls pointy? Are they shaped like arrows? What are souls shaped like? I need a visual here. Can we what the hell?
God have guilt. The devil's the accuser. And so, I made a mistake. I wasn't perfect. I'm not really a Christian. I'm not really good. No, as long as you mean well or doing the best you can, you're going to stumble. You're going to have problems and you're going to have issues, but it doesn't matter because that's why God's there to help you. And you just got to reach out to God and say, I can't do this alone. I need you. And I think people just need to say, I need God. I give it to God. Not, I'm going to lay down and just trust in God. Some of the churches, thank God they're coming out with microchips and Mark of the Beast. That means Jesus coming back soon. Well,
What? what churches are, first of all, like what churches are saying that? Like, oh, thank God. They got microchip marks, the beast marks that are coming out here. And I thank goodness, because we really did need some of those beast marks. You know, people were suffering because we didn't have any. And now they've been invented, all sorts of problems solved right then and there. Okay. You know, with the beast marks.
You know, I was talking to a police officer today we saw out here, and he's like, well, just thank God Jesus is coming back soon. Well, if you actually read Revelation, it doesn't actually read like that. We have to go through this whole project. And
well, if you actually don't, oh my God, like that, to be arrogant about Revelation and be like, no, I got the interpretation, bro. Clearly, you haven't read it. Have you fucking read it? It talks about horns taking over other horns that are on a 7-headed dragon. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, you're like, okay, actually, it's super obvious if you read. Look, the 7-headed dragon clearly represents the Bible. Shut the fuck, dude. Come on.
this happens. And so,
And it's also like explicit throughout the New Testament. You're not going to know. Well, you're not God. You don't get to predict when this happens. It comes like a thief in the night. And so
mine looks like that everlasting gobstopper. Well, then, so no, they're not pointy if they're, you know, if they're shaped like a gobstopper. I mean, is this a gobstopper that's been eaten? Oh no, wait, they're everlasting. Never mind. Yeah, they gotta maintain their shape if they're everlasting. Anyway,
exactly. And I'm not putting him down for being like, praise God.
no,
Jesus is coming back soon. My point is that it says the Antichrist will wage war against the saints and overcome them.
right.
So there's a big, and then we lose in the third quarter, we win in the fourth quarter because God's going to test us.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, oh, thank God.
we lose in Act 2. Okay, that's the conflict, and you gotta lose right before then you win again. It's kind of like the part where Thanos is beating everybody up, but then Captain America comes in and gets Thor's hammer, and it's like, you know, now we're winning again. It's like,
You won't be here. That's only been around Schofield Bible in like 150 years. Nobody ever taught that, not in Catholicism, Protestantism.
It's absurd.
Nobody ever taught.
now this just seems bored. Like Tucker goes, yeah, it's absurd. Whatever. Can we just? Oh my God, can we hear this? What time is it? What time do you got? Can you finish your rambling shit? I got stuff to do. Okay, I got this. How is this my life?
The Antichrist has got guillotines cutting Christians' heads off.
Right.
So how are they all raptured if they're getting their heads cut off? So see, and so
Wow. Okay. First of all, trying to use logic here, and I don't know what you're doing. Just stop. Okay, because that's not going to help you with the Christian religion. He's like, how is the Antichrist cutting Christian heads off if they've all been raptured? Because people get saved whilst it's happening. You know, that's supposed to be the apologetic for that, I guess, is that Christians get saved during the tribulation. It goes on for a while, supposedly, right? So there's people left over. Haven't you seen fucking Left Behind, man? Like, you don't know how this works? Jesus.
Well, the whole thing, I mean, it's obviously a heresy, but more than that, it's such a clear usurpation of God's power. It's like, I've figured out exactly when this is going to happen and how it's going to go. It's like, no,
well, what happened to all the disciples? Almost all of them got killed.
Yeah, I know.
Did they get raptured out?
No, I know. The whole thing is
What?
It's sad. And by the way,
They did get killed. What are you talking? They're gone. They wouldn't be there during the tribulation. How the tribulation supposedly hasn't happened yet. Like, they're talking about the disciples?
really good people fall for it. Really good. Some of my favorite and most decent people fall for it. I'm not attacking anyone at all, but it's clearly not true. And it leads them it leads them to defend like murder and stuff.
While we're on theology.
What? What does?
Exactly. While we're on theology, what do you think of Peter Thiel's whole Antichrist lecture?
In some sense, the Antichrist as an idea is something that really comes into being in the world after Christ. And so there's a lot of things about it that are mysterious. In some ways, the Antichrist copies Christ. The Antichrist pretends to be greater than Christ, hyper-Christian, ultra-Christian, and then maybe only ultimately, deeply anti-Christian. You can think of it as a system, where maybe communism is a one-world system. So it can be an ideology or a system. And then of course you can also think of it as Newman did, where it's sort of the final dictator of the one world state, where it's still, you stress it more as a person.
Because it's so obvious too, whether like why Revelation is talking about this sort of thing, because they're talking about Nero or whatever, and it was like the Roman dictator, and to them it was the world, like, you know what I mean? So when they're talking about the one world government, and it was also a conquering nation, right? So they were like thinking like it's like forward thinking, and so they're like, oh man, what if these guys take over the world, you know? Which to them it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because it's not that big of a world to them. And then they just kind of go through, and the Roman dictators were, you know, they're very much like how we would, they're kind of very similar to the dictators we have today, honestly, just crazy thirst for power, you know. So everything they're describing in the Bible, as far as like that goes, makes sense. It's just him sort of like looking around and going, what if a Roman emperor like took over the world? Like, you know what I mean? But
you can think of it as a type, a system, a person. How does a sort of world takeover actually happen?
You know, I haven't seen it. I have talked to him about it at great length. I think it's really interesting. I didn't really get to the punchline on that. I don't get. So the question everyone
spoke right in his face. He's like, seriously, man, with this smoke, dude?
You know,
blow it away from the camera, dude.
Is okay. Who's the Antichrist? I think maybe there's more than one. I don't know.
It's a system,
right? So I would just
say
one
of those big ass cigars too, isn't it? How obnoxious!
I'm not taking a pass on the question. I would, but I don't. This is so far out of my depth. I mean, I'm just sort of at the I'm for Jesus stage of things. But
I'm for Jesus. I don't know anything else. Yeah, Revelation's batshit. I don't know what to do with it.
I'm glad that there's a conversation about it. You know, I welcome all conversations about the transcendent because I think it's what matters.
Well, exactly, because I mean, I love the a comedian, Tim Dillon. He's like, this guy's got all this cashless control grid, or this, and then he wants to know about the Antichrist. Well, he grew up really Christian. People don't know, Peter Thiel, and then now he's wanting to have a debate about it. I don't think the Antichrist wants you to have a debate about the Antichrist.
I think.
Well, maybe that's why he's doing it. You know, it's an act of defiance of this Antichrist that doesn't want you to talk about the Antichrist. What is it, Fight Club? The Antichrist. First rule of Antichrist is do not talk about Antichrist.
That's probably right. And just in general, it's worth talking about and reminding ourselves and others that this is just like a small piece of what's real. We're just seeing a tiny fraction of reality. Like the spiritual world, that realm is as real as, you know, the table we're sitting at, and people lose sight of that. I lose sight of that.
Exactly. So it's
as real as the state's extra. It's extra real. You know, it's more real than tables. That's what I'm saying here.
We should be having not just Peter Thiel, everybody, Donald Trump, you and I. We should be discussing Revelation, what describes really happening now.
Yeah.
So we should be having. Oh God, he's the.
This is why I wanted to cover this, because it's like so interesting. Back when I was watching Alex Jones, when I was like into conspiracies and stuff, that was his whole game, right? That was his whole like belief system, was that the end times were happening currently, right? But like we couldn't see it because it's all secret, right? So it's the globalists that are doing it behind the scenes. It's all, you know, it's all secret, right? And at the time, I was like looking for the end to happen. I was like I'm like, why isn't the end happening? Why isn't any of the prophecies coming true? And then this guy shows up and he's like, oh no, they are. You just can't see it. It's like, oh, okay. And it just kind of solved that little like question mark in my Christian brain back then, you know?
Peter Thiel's the Antichrist. He's talking about the Antichrist. What? Because some people are like, well, what's he doing talking about the Antichrist? Well, I think we should all be talking about it.
Well, because I think the temptation is to just ignore.
Yeah, Raven said, that's I'll go back to the chat in a minute. So, Raven said, I put InfoWars in a YouTube video short for 20 seconds, and they took my whole channel down. Shit. Well, I hope they don't do that to me. Although I don't think this is that, right? This is just it's just him. And as far as I understand, he lost InfoWars completely. It's not even his anymore. So I don't know. You know,
The whole topic. I mean, that's the world that I grew up in, where it was just never discussed.
Devil doesn't exist. It was just
100%. People's sex lives were a frequent topic of conversation. Everyone was super liberal about that. Like, no one was embarrassed of anything except any question that transcended the material was just considered like
Tucker Carlson and Malice Jones. Sure. Yeah, no, that's good. I like this.
death was considered totally off limits because it pointed to these obvious questions like what happens then. And so I really welcome that. I think all healthy societies face death.
Exactly.
directly.
People go, "Oh, you're a Peter Thiel dick rider." No, you should be having a discussion, man.
Dick rider. What? I did not expect that. And if you want to be just a dick rider, period, you know, just anybody's dick rider, don't have to be Peter Thiel's or anything. Just a regular one. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brantley. BRENTLY. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Can you, Kevin? We're done. We're done. Yeah, I know. I'm just doing short ones today. Okay. Can you just?
Christ, why aren't you?
It's a vertical. It's a vertical. You can't do a lot of ads in vertical. Okay, they get mad.
And so what I got, I haven't seen the presentation.
So people, I'm sorry, I missed a lot because I do think the internet's demonic. Sorry, I know I work on the internet, but the whole thing makes me uncomfortable. So I haven't seen any of this, but people are.
Thanks, Brent. Yeah, that was. I mean, I don't want to take most of the credit here, since Alex Jones is such a great dick rider and everything. You know, it just, I kind of just, I rode up his tail on the coat of his dick riding. God damn it.
Attacking Teal for this?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh yeah, it's like they haven't even found out what he's saying. I've read some of the articles. I tried to get tickets, but it was already sold out. But I wanted to see his view on it. But all I know is that we should be having a discussion about the Antichrist. I mean, we're having one already here. And so what is the Antichrist? I think you need to know the enemy. I think you need to know.
Well, one obvious hallmark from my
Who's the Antichrist, dude? Like, how are you you're just gonna breeze past that? You're like, we should be having conversations with the Antichrist. Who is it?
frequent but very untutored reading of those books in the New Testament is that the Antichrist reserves the powers of God for himself. He pretends to be God. You know, I'm all powerful. I can, worship me.
Well, he does make a statue and then makes it come to life. So, maybe it'll be Elon Musk and nobody knows that he made a statue that's actually a big robot, Maybe that's what it is. And then he's like, everybody needs to worship me because I'm great. I can't really do a good Elon Musk impression. It's just like a lot of big, long pauses.
And by the way, that's most leaders in the world through all time. But those are signs of evil. You are not God. No one can worship.
Totally agree.
No one can worship you. And the shitty things you do on earth do not make you powerful. They destroy you, actually. And so that it's all described in Jesus's 40 days in the wilderness, where
So you should be destroyed then, huh? Tucker Carlson, huh?
Satan
Simpson.
offers him these deals, and he declines all of them. But that's like the
I think the devil wrote The Art of the Deal, right? That was,
whether you're a Christian or not, that is the template for life. Oh, if I just do this, I'll win this election. I break some eggs to make the omelet. No, dude, you're going to be destroyed for that. Probably in this life, certainly in the next. And that's just real. That's just a fact.
Oh, I agree.
What?
And it's nothing.
It's just I don't know what you're even saying, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're so vague with shit, right? Like, are they just referencing stuff that I'm just way unprivy to since I'm not a right-wing weirdo?
But healthy to have a discussion about that.
100%. So I guess the one.
100%. Oh man, I want to clip that. Can we clip that? Let's clip that. 100%. Hold on, let's hear it over time.
Probably in this life, certainly in the next. And that's just real. That's just a fact.
Oh, I agree. And it's nothing but healthy to have a discussion about that.
100%. So I guess the one thing I don't like.
I really do. I've never been more motivated to go back through one of these fucking things and try to find a clip in my life.
But the Antichrist conversation is it makes it sound like, Anton LaVey is going to show up and like start murdering people. And I think it's much more present than that.
I don't think he'd start murdering people. He would play an organ though. Okay. He was pretty good at that. In fact, he had a miniature organ that he would play in a circus performance. He was weird. He was a weird dude,
I think literally Antichrist means against Christ. Well, who would that include? Most leaders in the world, they hate Jesus.
They do. Well, look what Elon is starting to come around.
You want to make people upset? Start talking about Jesus. I just did this at Charlie Kirk's memorial. I did like some 6-minute talk about Jesus, only Jesus. That's it. I said to my wife in the shower that morning, I was like, I'm not getting political at all. I'm not going to attack anybody.
Didn't he say something like really weird at the, oh, damn it. Now I can't remember what it was, but it was like so fucking weird. And now he's just like, I was just talking about Jesus. I went up and just made everybody mad because I talked about Jesus.
I want to be as like unifying as I can and consistent with what Charlie really cared about as I can, and what he really cared about.
They called it anti-Semitic.
That was insane. Which was, of course,
they called you anti-Semitic.
It's absurd, but leaving aside the absurdity, like the emotion was real. It was totally real. Like, oh my gosh, that's outrageous that you said that. It's like
great speech.
What did you say? Can you again? Fucking specifics, y'all. I don't know exactly what you said. Dude, I don't think most people know exactly what you fucking said at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Maybe just give us like the things that made people mad.
It was just short, but all I did was recount the gospel. But that's the most controversial thing you can do. And everyone's happy to talk about God all the time. God, spiritual. Jesus, man, that's a no-go zone. Why is that?
Absolutely.
Because it's real. That's why.
Because it's real. That's why. Yeah. Real stuff gets you in trouble. When you say real stuff, everybody hates it. Okay, sure. But anyway, yeah, that was fun, right? That was our title video here. Is the title video that I play first, and then after that we can we can kind of mess around a little bit. But I did kind of have an idea for a Ray comfort, because we haven't messed with Ray in a while. Let's see, where is that? Oh, there it is. And it's this brand new. Wait. Oh, okay. Never mind. It was like featured resource. Oh, where'd it go? God damn. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Nothing happened. It was fine. All right. Here we go. I know we haven't really messed with it in a while, because we just kind of says the same stuff over and over, but sometimes it's fun, right? Because you see people will say,
destroy your soul in hell.
Slightly different responses to his like shtick, and it gets kind of interesting. But here we go. Plus, I think it can help us to kind of like talk about stuff.
When I meditate in the morning, I absolutely say, "What's up, Mr. Jesus? High five. Good morning. How you doing?"
I don't think you're meditating right. Okay, you're doing it. You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to think about breathing, dude. That's it, and maybe think about your hand. And think about how that feels, right? Until it gets tingly. And then you think about your elbow and on up. And really just embody your body, right? You really want to feel, anyway.
Hey, Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting me from demons again that are trying to get to me. What about how many people have been slaughtered and continue to get slaughtered across the planet because of religion?
What's your name?
Dracula.
No, you're kidding me. It's not Dracula.
Sure, Dracula Austin.
It wasn't on your birth certificate.
It is on my birth certificate.
Who did that to you?
God.
You didn't have a mother?
No, I did. He spoke words through her.
So you believe in God?
Sure. I can try to understand. Do I have any real factual information? Does anybody on this planet? I seek that through meditation. I don't know if I'll ever get those answers.
You ever seek it through the Bible?
Bible was written by man.
Yeah, but it was inspired by God.
Right. And God spoke through those people writing the Bible, right? Maybe prophets and stuff. But for me, I have my own beliefs about religion. I definitely believe there's a Christ consciousness in this universe, a loving, benevolent consciousness.
What is a Christ consciousness thing? I've heard like a dozen people now say that, and I don't feel like I've gotten a clear explanation as to what the fuck that means.
a creation energy of light? Is it something written down?
Never mind. I got it now. It's a creation energy of light. I got it. I don't even know. Kevin, we need to write that down. Can we write that down? Yeah. Creation energy of light. Yeah. We need to, that way we can remember for next time. Yes, this comes up a lot.
And that Bible of stories, maybe. I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I don't know if anybody can.
Who was Jesus?
The man or the consciousness?
The myth or the legend of the consciousness. What you just said is the creator energy of light.
It's the man revealed in Scripture. Who
I
was
don't know.
it?
I don't read scripture, man. I'm not like I don't practice any kind of religion.
Well, the Bible says he was God in human form. He's the maker of the universe.
The Bible says he was God.
The Bible says God was manifest in the flesh. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and all things were made by him.
So why didn't it say that in the beginning was Jesus, and then Jesus was God? Why didn't it say that? Why it's got to do this weird like word thing?
So Jesus was God in human form, and the reason he came to this earth was to give us salvation, to give us.
He's got like a metal band name on his neck. It's like, I don't know if you can see it if you're just listening or whatever, but he just has like a group of vines, I guess, that are all growing. He had something that ended up disagreeing with right on his neck. Probably well, you know what I mean. Anyway, and so he had to get it covered up. It's like, just do vines. I don't know, just vines creeping up my face. Let's just do that.
Hope to show us the truth. So how do you enter heaven according to the Bible?
Like, I believe what you give is what you get. So
Yeah.
You do good happens.
Good fucking shit happens, man.
You hurt others, you're gonna get hurt yourself, and you should.
Are you morally a
should
good
get
person?
hurt.
Absolutely. I was born with a pretty straight and narrow moral compass.
Well, listen to what Jesus said. He said, whoever looks upon a woman to lust for her has committed adultery already with her in his heart. Have you ever looked at a woman with lust?
Yes.
You had sex before marriage?
Sure.
Have you lied and stolen?
Yeah.
Have you ever used God's name in vain?
Absolutely.
Well, Drat, you've just told me you're a lying, thieving, blasphemous, fornicating, adulterer at heart, who's self-righteous and saying you're a good person when you're not. You're like the rest of us. So if God judges you by the 10 commandments on Judgment Day, you're going to be innocent or guilty.
I believe when I look at a woman and I want to have sex with her, that is a natural human instinct for the.
It's such an insane fucking thing to say, dude. Like, to just be like, everything is evil. Just thinking thoughts evil. Like, you've literally like nullified all morality. It just makes everything not mean anything. If everything is bad, then there's no such thing as bad, because there's only bad. So it's
expansion of the species, just like animals in nature are going, like, you got 10 bears going after one female bear, and they're all fighting over her because it's too
but the bear, would be safer to run into in the woods than a man. So, has a bear ever cut somebody's face off and worn it? Huh? Like apparently atheists do.
Span the species. It's a natural animalistic instinct.
Greg, you're not an animal. You're
Yes,
made.
we are absolutely animals.
No, we're not. We're not.
Okay, go to a third world country and walk around the street where they're slaughtering each other and tell me we're not animals.
Okay. Got a little racist there. But it's undeveloped would be the right way to describe that. And do you need to go there to see that? We have ICE agents here, man. You can't just see them and be like, yep, animals. Look at that guy. Look at those ICE agents wearing masks and just beating people up because they just want to beat people up. I don't think you need to go to any other country to see that.
Well, we've got a sinful nature, but we're made in the image of God with a sense of right and wrong. We've got a conscience. The word conscience means with knowledge. The animals don't have that. They don't believe in justice and truth. They don't set up court systems that we do because we're made in the image of God. And
I think they have their own idea of what truth is. I don't think it's defined on like Descartes or anything. Or Descartes, depending upon how you pronounce it. But yeah, I think they still like, yep, that's the thing that's real. That lion coming after me, I'm a gazelle. That thing's real. That's the truth. It's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. Like, I think they have that.
if you die in your sins, you're going to be guilty. And if
they
you're
do.
guilty, you'll end up.
They also do have like their own sense of morality. Like apes and stuff, like I would say like society, like in their groups, what do they call it? The fucking tribe or whatever you want to call it. They have rules. If like one of the apes like attacks another ape in their group, their pride, right? No, wait, no, that's lions. Hold on. Doesn't matter. Like then they get beat up by all of the other apes. Like they have a sense of like what not to do because it's all about like social interaction, which Ray Comfort, his morality has nothing to do with social interaction at all. That's why he's making everything evil so that there is no evil, which when you have belief systems like that, this is why it attracts so many PDF files, you know, because they're just like, oh, it just puts all morality on equal footing, right? Just like, hey, if you look with lust, then that's the same thing as doing the PDF file stuff. That's why PDF files just love any kind of religion and belief system that is obsessed with forgiveness and putting everybody on equal footing morally.
Hell, that breaks my heart. Drake, I love you. I don't want you to go to hell. I don't want God to give you justice. I want him to give you mercy. So here's a question.
It's funny. Jamie's like, hey, prostate. Wow. Oh, man, I'm fucking that was good. That was pretty good. I got it with that one. That was pretty. That's right. They call me the punk prostate. It's it's about to get a tube stuck up there to check, or a camera. That's the tube. That's for something. This is just a pleasure. They really, you know. And if you want a tube thick stuck up there that's not for any medical purposes, go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout. Get your butt 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley. All right, there we go. Short but often, you know. Kind of like my, you know.
What did God do for guilty sinners like you and me so we wouldn't have to go to hell?
It sounds to me like you're living by the Bible and what another man wrote. You're living through fear, and I just don't function that way.
Listen to what Jesus said. He said this: fear not him who has power to kill your body and afterwards do no more.
I love how Ray comes like, I'm just going to keep talking, okay? I'm not going to respond to anything you actually said. I'm just going to keep talking.
But fear him who has power to kill your body and destroy your soul in hell. The Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So there's a fear that has torment that's bad, but there's a fear that's good. And it's the fear of God.
It's funny too, because like I was just thinking the other day, like I always say, like what is faith? You know, faith, like Matt Dillahunty or whatever would say, like that faith is the excuse you give when you don't have a good reason to think a thing, right? Because if you have a good reason, you'll just give the good reason. And you're like, why should I believe that? Well, because of this good reason, and you provide it. Faith, because every time that faith comes up, they're like, oh, you just gotta have faith. And I always would say that faith is just deciding that you are right about whatever it is that you want to think, right? Just going, well, I've decided that I'm right about this. And that's faith. But it's actually worse than that. It's not having faith to decide that you're right about something you want to think. It's faith. It's without any reasons either. It's actually faith. And he's actually kind of needling at it a little bit here. It's like, it's actually just deciding that somebody else is right, that didn't provide you any good reasons to think a thing. And you're just like, yeah, but I believe it though. And they go, why do you believe that? I don't, well, you just gotta have faith. Well, I believe the other guy when he told me that. He was like, you just gotta have faith. And I decided that he was right. Because I didn't want to keep asking the same question. So I kind of just decided that he was right. And now I live my entire life in accordance with the book that I haven't even really read.
Because it'll cause you to depart from your sins. So let me ask that question again, because I think you know. What did God do for guilty sinners like you and me so we wouldn't have to go to hell?
He sent his son here to die for our sins.
That's right.
Okay, I hear that.
Yeah.
I've had my own paranormal experiences. I continue to have them. There's definitely good and evil. There's definitely spiritual warfare going on the planet right now.
What? Did he just say, I've had my own paranormal experiences and I continue to have them? Like it's just a continuous paranormal experience?
Now it is real.
Do you know what Satan does according to the Bible? He blinds the minds of those that believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine to them. So Satan wants to
fucking what, man? What was any of that? They blinds the lights of the
blind you. Satan does according to the
Bible.
Going.
He just keeps going. You're going to say Satan blinds you. That's it. That's all we really needed to get from that. But then he just keeps going.
Normal experiences, I continue to have them. There's definitely good and evil. There's definitely spiritual warfare going on the planet right now. It's real.
You know what Satan does according to the Bible? He blinds the minds of those that believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine to them. So Satan wants to blind your mind to the gospel. Let me share it with you and get your thought. The 10 Commandments are called the moral law. You and I broke the law. Jesus.
Everybody that doesn't believe my thing is being blinded by Satan. Yeah.
Jesus paid the fine. That's what happened on that cross. That's why he said it is finished just before he died. He was saying paid in full. Now, here's what will make it make sense.
Sure.
If you're in court and you've got speeding fines.
This is not going to make it make sense. Okay. Now, there's nothing's going to make the undead carpenter ghost thing make sense, because an undead carpenter ghost that you pretend to cannibalize, that you think lives inside your heart. It's not going to, you're not going to do much with it with a fucking speeding ticket analogy.
And you plead guilty, a judge will let you go if someone pays those fines. He'll say, you're out of here, you're guilty, but you can leave. And it's legal for him to let you go. Well, God can take death off you because Jesus paid the fine on that cross. And then he rose from the dead, defeated death. And if you'll simply repent of your sins, and you'll never do that while you think you're a good person, and trust in Jesus like you trust a parachute, God promises he'll grant you everlasting life as a free gift. I
know, man. I wish Ray would just let other people believe what they want, man. Why does he gotta go try to force everybody to believe their thing, right? It's ridiculous. You fucking evangelical. You know, just keep your shit to yourself, you know?
Because you're good, but because he's good and kind and rich in mercy. And Drake, you don't realize this, but I genuinely love you, and I know what I'm saying is true. It's the gospel truth. And I just want you to think about this, because you're a human being. You're very precious in the sight of God, and he takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked. So I want you to think about your eternal salvation, especially the words of Jesus. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul?
When I meditate,
I like that song. That's but anyway, I don't, you know, I'm probably gonna get a copyright strike if I start singing it, just because I sing so accurately. That's what it would be. That's why I'm not going to sing.
in the morning, I absolutely say, what's up, Mr. Jesus? High five. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting me from demons again that are
fucking goddamn shit fuck demons, you know?
They're trying to get to me. And I speak to like my guardian angel, and I talk to him like my brother.
That's Michael. That's the same one, man. You didn't know that?
Because they're in here. They're in here. I connect directly.
Did you just point to his penis?
Directly to source through meditation and the silencing of my mind.
Meditation is pretty great. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the hell he's doing with meditation, but you know, high-fiving Jesus is definitely not part of my process. That's for sure.
You know, they're not demons.
Well, I have experienced demons. That's what I'm telling you. Do you meditate? Do you practice meditation?
Yes.
No, he doesn't. Shut the fuck. God, he's such a liar, dude.
How do you meditate?
I meditate on God's word.
Oh, God's word, okay, which is not fucking meditating, dipshit. You're supposed to clear, you know, never mind.
You read the Bible.
Yeah, and I meditate on it. You're an unbeliever.
That's not meditating.
I'm not an unbeliever.
Well, you see,
I'm not a Christian, and you can't tell me I'm an unbeliever because I'm not religious.
Well, yes.
What about how many people have been slaughtered and continue to get slaughtered across the planet because of religion and Christianity?
Well, God will get them. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just say, when I say
God will get them. Don't worry about it. Look, no, I am worried about it, man, because it kind of makes the validity of your truth claim, you know, it brings it into question, doesn't it?
When I say you're an unbeliever, I'm saying you don't believe the gospel. I'm not putting you down. That's why I'm talking to you. I want you to believe. I'll tell you why. Beliefs are incredibly important. If I said to you, there's a landmine right where you're walking, and you believed, you'd go around it. If you didn't believe, you'd step onto it. So all I'm saying to you is believe the gospel that God provided.
Man, that is a one-to-one fucking analogy here, dude. Holy shit, you nailed it. Nailed it, Ray.
Provided a savior so you could be free from death and damnation. He's the lover.
Like, hold on a second. Are you gonna put a landmine in my? I don't understand. What was that all about? Dude said he's gonna leave a landmine in my way or some shit. I don't know what the fuck.
Of your soul, I love you too, and I want to see you in heaven, not in hell. So all I want you to do is think about this. You've been very patient with me, and
This is like you can just see. I wish we could see his eyes because he clearly looks like he's not enjoying himself.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Can I give you a book I've written called Scientific Facts in the Bible?
No.
Can I give you a hug?
Sure.
No. No, you're not giving me a scientific shut the fuck. Oh my God, what the fuck are you talking about?
Absolutely.
Scientific facts in the Bible.
I've got a gift.
Scientific facts in the Bible that, you know, nobody figured out until we did the science that demonstrated it. And whatever he thinks were scientific facts in the Bible, science was the thing that had to discover it. Not fucking. Otherwise, people would have just read the Bible like 2,000 years ago and then like knew these scientific facts. But that's not what happened, was it?
For you, Caitlin. That's a coin with the 10 Commandments on it. Which is the hardest of the 10 Commandments to keep? That one question is amazing because it cuts to the chase. It immediately causes the person to reveal their prevalent sin.
You shall not lie.
What was named in vain?
Adultery.
This happens because of the
So again, like you're just using that question just to basically go, oh, good. Now I can emotionally manipulate you through your answering of that question. Now I can know how to fuck with you a little better.
10 Commandments
God,
coin.
you're such a piece of shit.
I use it all the time and I love it because it has a perceived value.
Wow.
And it comes in different sized, high quality, genuine wood treasure chests and lots.
Yeah, dude. David said in Matthew 19:24, Jesus says, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. Jesus would be accused of being a communist today by MAGA. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, they kind of just do that with everybody, you know. If they don't, you could barely disagree, you know, with their conclusions or whatever. They're like, communist, you're just a communist over here. That's what that is. That's why you don't specifically believe my exact thing about Jesus or whatever the fuck.
Of 1,000, 500, 300,
That was loud.
100, or in bags
God
of
damn.
50. We even have one that has gold coins for that very special person. Treasure chests.
Give that very special person in your life a gold coin, you know, with ancient laws on it. She'll dig it. You're definitely getting some that night, but you shouldn't unless you're married, okay? Because otherwise it's adultery or something.
And bags of 50 coins are available at livingwaters.com.
Fun stuff, right? Oh, are all sins equal? Nah, I don't care about that. What time is it? Where are we at here?
Destroy your soul in hell. The Bible says
Hey,
the fear.
I didn't do that. Hold on. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so we got a couple different options. Sorry, just falling over myself. Oh, but this was one I was gonna. This is what I was kind of looking at because this is that what do you mean? What do you mean guy or whatever? And he's I don't know what's going on in his head lately, but it almost seems like he's having like a crisis of his beliefs, you know, because of just how insane the other people on his side of the aisle are behaving lately, you know, just kind of putting this dictator fucking weirdo in charge and then acting like everything the dictator weirdo does is just perfectly fine, even though he's just like, you know, emboldening these ICE, you know, Gestapo weirdos to just go harass a bunch of brown and black people. But so now it seems like he's just having trouble. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he knows what is what is happening on his side of the aisle here. So I haven't watched any of this, but I'm kind of curious what he's going to say about it. It's like, everybody's believing conspiracies. What is going on? Stop, guys. Come on. Just believe the Jesus conspiracy about just the Christian one. Jesus. All right. Yeah, let's start it up.
In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the internet has exploded with conspiracies, each claiming to uncover.
Yeah, that was it. That's what caused it.
Really?
It was just when Charlie Kirk thing happened. Then conspiracies all of a sudden everywhere. It's not like it was like that before that too.
Happened. millions of people believe that we're witnessing one of the biggest cover-ups in recent memory. However, I was one of those who found some of the theories that lacked hard evidence to be incredibly irresponsible and even potentially dangerous. But as I started to do more research, I began to see why these sorts of conspiracy theories felt so persuasive, why they reveal something deep in human nature, and
see, we were just watching that. See, it's all connected, y'all. It's all connected.
how the need to never be deceived can end up becoming the very thing that deceives us the most. So
The need to never be deceived ends up being what deceives you the most. So it's that goddamn skepticism. Is that what you're saying? Not that conspiracy people really use skepticism properly. They typically, do some type of circular reasoning so that they can doubt all the things so that they can think their conclusion that they've kind of already started with, and then are just sort of denying all the evidence for any other conclusion so that they can have the conclusion that they want. Anyway, it's not skeptical for like thinking, really. It's just sort of, they will say that it's skeptical, but that's because they don't really know what that word means.
let's unpack what happens when distrust becomes a religion. Okay, and real quick before we start, I just want to be clear that this video is not about everyone who listens to or believes in some conspiracies. Nor does it mean that conspiracies are always false, because they aren't. This video is about the psychology behind the conspiracies and what happens when we allow them to consume us.
I love that he had to do that, because again, this is his side of the aisle that is like completely lost their mind. They've had their minds lost for a very long time, but it's almost like it's really coming to fruition with him lately, it seems. But it's so even this one, when conspiracies become your religion, like a bunch of people just like jumped on him, and he was like, "Hold on a second, I gotta get ahead of this. Look, I'm not saying that the conspiracy people are stupid and crazy or anything. I'm just saying the psychology behind conspiracy thinking and stuff." Like,
All right, now let's get into it.
the conversion.
If you've ever wondered how someone can go deep down the rabbit hole to the point of being extreme, well, this is how. Let's be honest, people didn't just wake up one day and decide to stop believing in the official narratives. Over time, we watched how we were deceived by the very institutions that were supposed to tell the truth. For some, it was church scandals. For others, media that never apologized for lies. And for millions,
How are you showing CNN for that, man? Fox News literally was taken to court for the shit, dude. Like, and the way that they got out of it was by saying that it's obviously not news. Only an idiot would believe the stuff that Fox News says. That was their argument. That was what their lawyers said to get them out of like the lying on Fox News. Literally a name, Fox News.
Epstein was the final straw.
Dan
Nearly everyone,
Epstein.
no matter
and nobody's talking about it. Can you stop bringing up that name? Okay, come on.
the politics, started to feel like they're trying to deceive you wasn't paranoia anymore, it was common sense. So when someone like Candace says that the government is lying, it lands. It already feels familiar. And honestly, believing in conspiracies doesn't make you crazy, it just means you're human. I mean, take a look at what Jordan Peterson said here.
That means I'm someone else because I thought I knew what was going on, and clearly I don't.
Jordan Peterson was explaining why betrayal is one of the most traumatizing things that a person can experience. When you trust someone, you build your understanding of the past, the present, and the future around that trust. It's what gives life stability. But when that trust breaks, everything collapses. The past starts to feel like a lie.
They just got married and she's already losing trust. Well, that was weird. That was some weird visuals there. They're like, married couples do trust a lot. She's still wearing the wedding dress. She's like, hold on, I don't know about you.
The present feels unsafe. The future you imagine disappears. And suddenly, you're not just questioning that person, you start questioning yourself.
You were someone else, and that means I'm someone else because I thought I knew what was going on, and clearly I don't. I'm some sort of blind sucker or the victim of a psychopath, or someone who's so naive that they can barely live. And I don't understand anything about human beings, and I don't understand anything about myself. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow or next week or next year. It's like all of...
Glad to hear you finally say it, man. We'd all been waiting for you to kind of have this sort of self-realization here, but it's, I'm glad that you're finally coming come into this reality.
That certainty, that habitable certainty, collapses right back into the potential from which it emerged.
And that's also what happens to society when it loses its trust in the...
Okay, so just the tenets of epistemology, is that what we're doing? Like, we're just gonna, okay. Again, Descartes, just look up stuff Descartes said, man. You can kind of get all of that from that.
people who were supposed to tell the truth. Collectively, we felt, I was deceived. I can't trust them. I'm not who I thought I was. We didn't just lose faith.
It's so crazy that there's the fucking, you know, that it's a Christian guy here being like, man, it's the thing was, we all felt like we were deceived, and the stuff that he believes are like right-wing nonsense, like right-wing, like everything that the right wing puts out there is using some kind of a manipulation to like get people to give some people power and get those people to be okay with having their own interests acted against by the people with the power that they gave the power to. But because through conspiracies, racism, like you name it, there's an emotional manipulation on the right for whatever it is. That's why they love using religion so much, because they're like, no, you have to believe the things that we're saying. Hey, didn't you decide that you believe this entire book? Well, in that book, there's a little verse that says the governments are put there by God. That's right. So you better start doing what I say, buddy. Okay. You already agreed. You already agreed when you decided to be a Christian. Now you got to do what I tell you. Like, that's their manipulation thing, man. And it works, which is so fucking sad.
And the authorities. We lost faith in our ability to make sense of the world, and subconsciously, we started to feel unsafe. Psychologists call this epistemic anxiety, the discomfort of not knowing what's true, and our brains can't live there for long. So to relieve that anxiety, we reach for...
I don't think brains can really live anywhere by themselves. You kind of need the rest of the body.
Stories that fill in the gaps, stories that make the world make sense again. And even if they're false, they still feel safer than the ambiguity that comes from not knowing. Studies show that the type of people...
Yeah, but dude, see, this is the problem. Like, and this is the type of shit that religion does to your brain, is it makes it basically forces you to act like you know everything and then drill down on that. That's another reason why like right-wing politics and conspiracies and stuff are like so comforting to these people, because they don't understand how to just be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm still researching. They can't say I don't know. No, they got to decide that they know fucking everything. And then, point to, but the guy said, and then they have nothing. They don't have any like actual reasons why they think what they think, but they have to like be like, here's all my conclusions that I believe, and I have to decide that I'm right about all the conclusions that I've come to, and I will bend over backwards to never admit that I could possibly be mistaken about any of the conclusions that I've come to, which is exactly how you're not supposed to think. You should always be willing to update your position given new evidence. That's just good thinking, but they think that that's wrong. They see that as like a weakness or something, when literally it's a strength.
People that are drawn to conspiratorial thinking aren't stupid. They just tend to be more vigilant. They tend to have a deep need for certainty, control, and meaning in a world that feels unpredictable. And nearly 100 studies...
Which you got to just be okay with that, man. You got to just learn to be okay with uncertainty. You're never going to have it. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter what it is that you're believing or whatever. You're never going to have certainty. So you got to just deal with that, and you got to just deal with the way that everything always changes too, by the way, and that's okay too. And pain, you're always going to have pain. Those are kind of the three constants or whatever.
He's found that conspiratorial thinking often correlates with a high intolerance for ambiguity, a distrust of authority, and
at least ambiguity. He's like saying like ambiguity, like it sounds like he's saying like ambiguity. Gets all over everything.
Craving for hidden patterns. In other words, when the world feels untrustworthy, conspiracy theories give us a map. And even if it's the wrong map, it still feels better than being lost.
100%, dude. Yeah, Stan said, I learned to never worry about things that I can't, that you can't control. Yeah, what was it? Epic titties. Yeah, epic titties. I don't know what her deal was, but I think she was She was somebody smart, I think. I don't know. Somebody named her Epic Titties or something. But anyway, and they said the more you value things outside of your control, the less control you ultimately have, which I think is a pretty good little saying. You know, kind of ties a bow on what you're talking about there.
And that primes us for something like a conversion moment. We're ready to fully embrace the belief that suspicion can save us from deceit.
The suspicion can save us from deceit. Okay. Now I'm listening.
If you look to my last video on Candace Owens, the comment section predictably included those who were against her and those who passionately defended her with angry comments like these. But
see what I mean? See what I mean about him, like, kind of realizing the side of the aisle that he's on?
If you pay close enough attention, you'll notice how tightly people cling to conspiracies, sometimes even at the cost of family, friendships, or even unsubscribing from their favorite Christian YouTubers. But really, why would a Christian unsubscribe from other Christian channels that they once enjoyed just because the creator questioned Candace Owens' claims? Well, the reason why is because conspiracies don't just give people information, they give them something much stronger. Remember how so many of us felt, I was deceived.
They don't give them information, they give them something stronger than information.
Can't trust the authorities or institutions. I guess I'm not who I thought I was. Well, that same pattern.
I guess I'm not who I thought. I guess I'm just an idiot that just believes all this stupid damn. No, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I need a drink. I need a drink and a Xanax at the same time.
Sticks with us when we find comfort in conspiracy theories. But now it sounds more like this. I'll be skeptical so I won't be deceived again. I can only trust those who are skeptical of the authorities and institutions because now I'm not the kind of person who's easily deceived.
See what I mean? Like, they don't actually know what the word skeptical means, but
and that actually helps to regain a sense of who you are,
because they seem to think that, like, skeptical is just never believing, like it's always just like doubting everything, you know, just constantly. If that's not what it is, because it's actually unskeptical to not believe something if there's sufficient evidence to demonstrate, you know, to warrant the belief. You know,
you're not just someone searching for truth anymore.
Like, it's not skeptical to be a flat earther. You're not extra skeptical because you've decided that the earth is actually flat and not an opaque spheroid. You know, it's like, you know, because there's actually evidence that you should be, you know, taking into consideration, and you're not. And so you're just like denying evidence, which makes you not skeptical. Anyway.
You're someone who sees through the lies. You're one of those who gets it, who's awake. I mean, you know the vibe. You're watching a video exposing the
you know the vibe.
Truth about the truth about the truth, and somehow you feel more informed than everyone you know. And by the way, asking questions is a good thing, and everyone should have a healthy dose of skepticism. But once it gets a hold of your identity, it's powerful. It gives you belonging and makes you part of a tribe of people who see what others can't. And the way you see everything starts to change. You start seeing the world through the eyes of suspicion, and everything fits into one story. Good people are being lied to, and you're one of the few who finally see it. But eventually, that belonging becomes sort of a loyalty test of who you can and who you can't trust. So when others don't agree with the conspiracy, they aren't just seen as wrong, they're seen as the type of person you can't trust. They're too easily deceived. And this is where it starts to function like its own religion. It's not just belief anymore. It's
okay, so you're like, you know, everybody's too easily deceived if they don't question all the things, all the authorities, I guess you say. This is so funny because it's like, it's what it is like, it functions similar to like actual skepticism, but with so much more arrogance, right? They're like arrogantly like, oh, you believe this, oh, you're stupid, you know. Meanwhile, they believe in like the dumbest shit ever, but because they don't believe the mainstream narrative, they're like, I'm so much smarter than everybody, and they're arrogant about it. Like more like intelligent people typically are far more like humble intellectually. You know what I mean? Like, they're usually like, I don't know, I could be wrong. Since I understand that I can't actually like be right perfectly, I can only acquire the a sufficient amount of evidence that I can use to demonstrate to other people that this is why I think whatever claim it might be, and that's the best anybody can do, really. And they just can't handle that kind of intellectual honesty or humility, and it's just so they have to like go, no, I'm going to arrogantly say that I do know stuff because I've been convinced by this stuff that's not really good evidence.
It's belonging, a kind of faith community. You've got the prophets, the heretics, and even rituals. The daily
A heretic? How is Biden a heretic, dude? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
scroll through the hidden truths. And once you're this deep, every challenge starts to feel like betrayal, and that's where lives quietly start to fall apart. But before we get into that, and because this video is literally about trust and what happens when we lose it, we have to talk about the sponsor of today's video that helps with that, Aura. If you've ever wondered how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is flooded with spam,
Oh, the conspiracy theorists are gonna love this. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is why you gotta have this Aura thing, because otherwise they're taking all your data and then they're using it to, the further the agenda of the lizard people, of the Illuminati, the Jewish space laser alien lizard creatures.
well, this is why. There's these companies called data brokers that sell your data. They do a thing and hard on phone number,
right.
email,
Let's
$5 million.
go. Come on.
Enough time for Aura to see
Let's
if
move it along.
all right? So
All right.
becomes your
Thank goodness.
identity. Something subtle happens. When a critic says that doesn't add up, what you hear is, you're gullible, you fell for another lie. Same wound all over again. And because no one wants to be the fool twice, the instinct is to try to reverse it. You tell them that they're the ones that are really blind, and they're the ones who can't see what's really happening. The accusation gets mirrored back in the form of self-protection. It's less about truth and more about feeling sane. We see it online every day. Someone debunks a
But this is the problem with this. It's like, because they're not actually acknowledging the fact of the matter that, like, they can't, like, you need to be able to demonstrate why you think stuff. And nobody's ever going to be able to do this perfectly. And nobody's going to believe everything that's true all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you need to have like an open mind and have malleable positions that can change depending upon the evidence that you come across. If you hold like a particular position and then you realize that new information comes to light that demonstrates that your position isn't actually correct, you should be able to change your position without it being that big of a deal. But the problem is people take it so fucking personally, and they act like, oh man, this is like, oh, you're saying something about my intelligence now. And it's like, can you just acknowledge that we all are on the same footing? Like, that's the whole point of epistemology, is to like recognize that we are all on equal footing. And the more you look into what we know and how we know it, the more you realize we hardly know fucking anything, and how kind of open we are and vulnerable to lies and deception and things like that. But anyway, that's why you should like hold reasonable conclusions that you can demonstrate like exactly why you think them, and be fine updating your position.
claim. And instead of people saying, okay, maybe I got that one wrong, they say, of course they say that. They're part of the system too. This is how you can start to see the trap. To question the revelation is to prove that you were never truly awake, or worse, that you're also in on it. Evidence against the conspiracy.
That's the other one that they love. Like, it always ends up being like, they're like, oh, you're in on it. You are getting paid by the lizard people, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Y-A-R. Yeah, you are.
Somehow becomes even more evidence of a cover-up. And once speculation becomes doctrine, any evidence that you use against their theories just make their...
The more you demonstrate they're wrong, the more it demonstrates that they're right and you're just in on it. Yeah.
Faith in that theory stronger. And the irony of all of this is that in trying not to be deceived, it can sometimes make you even easier to be deceived. The same framing of issues gets recycled, now by people trying to dodge accountability. Andrew Tate's Matrix attacks, Billy Carson's Christian model.
Did he just really say Andrew Tate's Matrix attacks? The Matrix is attacking me again, bro. It's attacking me.
Mafia claims, Terrence Howard's elites, and of course the infamous...
Well, you should have gone with this math, because this math is way funnier. The fact that, and I can't remember what it was, but he was just like mixing up like percentages. It was like he was mixing up percentages and fuck, what it was something else, but it was like it was so funny, or fractions percent. Anyway, it was funny.
They language.
They don't want them looking at, that they don't want the public at large looking at.
They don't like me because they can't intimidate me. They want us afraid of me.
Vague enough to dodge proof and specific enough to absorb our fears. And by the way, after listening to countless hours of conspiracy theories, they has now become my least favorite pronoun. But anyways, the formula.
Yeah. And that was good. You know, all those conspiracy people love that joke, you know, because they hate that pronoun too.
Is the same. Confidence, outrage, and a promise that they're the crusader who knows the truth that they are hiding from you. But here's the painful reality.
The goddamn they're everywhere, you know.
The harder that you cling to that protection, the more it starts to protect you from reality itself. And the more you fight being deceived, the more that the fear of deception ends up deceiving you.
The more that you fear being deceived. Hold on, let me hear that again.
Starts to protect you from reality itself. And the more you fight being deceived, the more that the fear of deception ends up deceiving you.
Yeah, well, because they make it such a big fucking deal. Because they put their identity into it, and they have to like believe that they can't ever be wrong, and they have to just decide that they're right and just dig their heels in and never just be like, oh, okay, I could be mistaken about that. Just acknowledge the reality of it.
Conspiracies promise truth and clarity, but the deeper you go, the harder it gets to know who to trust or even what counts as evidence anymore. In fact, I've never met anyone who's come out of those rabbit holes with more peace. But I've met plenty whose relationships and even their marriages have been damaged because of them. One couple said that conspiracies nearly ended their marriage because the skepticism that was supposed to protect them started turning inward, looking for hidden motives, secret agendas, even inside of their home. The spouse who once felt safe now felt interrogated.
Wow. See, again, using the word skepticism incorrectly, but okay.
And the harder they try to...
But he said they get so like used to not trusting narratives, as it were, that they start like distrusting each other. Is that what it was? No, she's lying to me. She's in on it. I know it. I think my wife might be a fucking lizard alien. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, she said some stuff and I don't buy it.
Prove their innocence, the guiltier they looked. That's what happens when distrust becomes doctrine. Families and communities that once shared faith and friendship split over theories that no one could prove. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that everyone who listens to conspiracies are going to end up here, but many do.
That's what it was. 1 × 1 = 2. Thank you, PJ. Yeah, PJ knows what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Good call. Thank you.
Eventually, skepticism hardens into cynicism.
It's like one time, and I can't. We'll have to watch that. I'll find it because it's really funny. But it was just like a clip of him just really not understanding math loudly and arrogantly.
And underneath it all is a deeper loss, not just of relationships, but also of your peace. And the worst part is, even if one of those...
But I love peace and carrots. They kind of, you know, they go together like peas and carrots.
Conspiracies turns out to be...
We cut that. Yeah, let's cut that. I don't even know what the fuck that was. Was that even a joke? What was that? I don't know what I was. Yeah, take all that out. Just let him say peace, and then everything that I say after that, get it out of there.
True. And by the way, some conspiracies have been proven to be true in the past. But even if one of them does, it still doesn't give you the relief that you hope.
It's weird when they do. So there's this and I can't remember. Well, shit, what the hell is his name? Stephen. Well, anyway, he wrote the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, and he has like a how to think like a scientist thing on Audible. And that was like one of the things he was talking about was like the difference between conspiracies and conspiracy theories, which are two different things. Like there's conspiracies all the time, dude. Like 9/11, they're like, oh, that was a big conspiracy, you know, and everything. They were in on it and all this stuff. No, a conspiracy happened. Those terrorists like conspired to fly those airplanes into the buildings. So there was a conspiracy. Conspiracy theories would be all of the other bullshit that they were trying to say about them. You know, that the buildings fell down wrong. And if, you know, I love those 9/11 conspiracies because they're just so sure they know how buildings fall, you know, like they're just out knocking buildings down. It's like, see, it totally falls all the way over, you know, it's like, because it's just like fell straight down. And they're like, that's a demolition. It's like, no, dude, that's just how fucking buildings fall, especially huge ones. Man, do you know how much weight is on that shit? It falls straight down. It doesn't fall over. There's too much weight, and it's not heavy and like all the it's not secure enough. So once it starts to go, the rest of it goes, and it goes straight down because of fucking gravity. And then they'll have like they would cite these like shit. What do they call it? The dudes that build buildings. You know, they design buildings, and they had like a whole bunch of architects. That's it. They had like a whole bunch of architects that had like a whole website, and they were like, "Hey, we are professional architects. We know how buildings fall. Okay, like we fall buildings for a living. All right, that's what we do." And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what it? No, it'd be a physicist is what you would want, man, not an architect. They're really good at building buildings, not falling them. You know what I mean? Not knocking them down. Like, what the fuck?
Because the problem was never just the lies. It was the fear underneath the lies. And that fear is a cruel and unforgiving God.
What? God?
Here's the thing that no one tells you.
That was a weird thing to say is the final word of that sentence.
We weren't built to know everything. The first lie we ever believed was that God was hiding something from us, and that if we just saw what he sees, we'd finally feel safe. But that lie didn't give us control.
But this isn't the lie. The believing that the fucking snake talked and told the lady to eat the magical apple, and she listened. You know, the lady made of a rib, and that's why the undead carpenter ghost had to sacrifice himself to himself. Like, that's not the lie. None of that. No, it's the other stuff that you're saying. Jesus Christ.
Poisoned us with distrust. The only way out of the paranoia loop is to let go of a need to know everything and finding peace in the one who already does.
Yeah, you're so close. You're so close. Oh my God. I hate it when they get this fucking close. And it's like, you don't have to know everything, okay? You know, you just, and the next part of that is just have, you know, reach conclusions that are based off of good reasoning and evidence. And if you come across any information that challenges your current beliefs, just update your position, given, you know, and implement in kind of like a Bayesian sort of model, update your position. And that way you can always be okay with not knowing everything, but you always have good reasons and evidence for the things that you do believe, and you're perfectly willing to update your positions. That's the right way to think. But no, they're like, yeah, no, you don't have to worry about knowing everything all the time. Just decide the one thing that Jesus is the thing, you know, that's it's like, okay, God damn it. You're so fucking close.
Because that's the kind of trust that gives you a better story. I don't have to know everything. I can trust the one who does, and he has.
Oh, you like them apples. That's right. Or just the one. Just the one magical one.
Never lied to me. And when you believe in the gospel, you start to build an identity that isn't fragile and isn't defensive, because you aren't valued based on how much you know or how much you can find out or knowing more than other people. You're valuable because the creator of this universe loved you enough to die for you. Real peace doesn't come from the...
Yeah, no, that's all perfectly rational.
Obsession of trying to...
Like, and it shows him, like, look at the torture murder. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't that the most beautiful torture murder you've ever seen in your goddamn life?
Find out or knowing more than other people. You're valuable because the creator of this universe loved you enough.
The fuck? Look at this. Look at this. And they're like, he loves you. He loved you enough to do this. Because, you know, the God that created the rules and the entire paradigm of existence had to do this. Because fucking reasons, you know?
Enough to die for you. Real peace doesn't come from an obsession of trying to figure out every hidden secret. It comes from trusting in the one who never lies, never hides, and never leaves you guessing about his motives. You can cast your anxieties on him.
Never leaves you guessing. Really? The 45,000 different denominations of Christianity would fucking beg to differ, dude.
Because he cares for you. And you no longer have to find your safety in knowing and seeing everything clearly, but instead being known and being seen clearly by him. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching until the
Okay. Yeah. You're welcome, bud. That was a good one. I gotta say. I mean, you're just as wrong as everybody else, but you got so close to being right. It was helpful. You know, it led to some good conversations, and I think it's going to be very useful in the near to distant future. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I have not been looking at the chat. I'm going to be honest. I've been sort of overly focused. I'm trying to like not divide my focus so much. It tends to be problematic in a lot of ways. But let me see here. What do we got? Oh. Wait, are these recent? Oh yeah. What's up, Deke? How you doing? So it sucks. Christian dude is blind now. What are you talking? What Christian dude? Anyway, oh, is it me? Because I used to be a Christian. JT said Jesus loves us, but if we don't accept him, he'll fuck us up, man. It's like, I love that. It's like that what do you call it? That meme or whatever, where he's like, let me in. He like knocking on the door or whatever, and he's like, let me in. And he's like, why? And he's like, shit, what is it? He's like, so I could save you. That's right. And they're like, from what? And he's like, from what I'll do to you if you don't fucking let me in. like, okay, all right. Well, very loving God right there. Hellbound Hillbilly. How you doing, dude? What's going on? So if you want to spice things up, that's right, go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50%. Hold on. Can you please take your comment? Dude, you're still right. It's distract. Thank you. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley. Okay. That's it. Quick but often. All right. That's how we do. Quick but often. Them's just how we do stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Damien said, the Jewish people demand control over people in Palestine, and the Christian and Muslims demand control over the rest. Yeah, because religion. That's it. Yeah. It's all about control. It's all about control. I mean, it really is, though. Like, once you get somebody to allow you to control your mind, it's over. I mean, and which is why you see that so often in church. It's like the people at church like fucking delight in the fact that you have basically handed your brain over to them and told them that, hey, you get to tell me what I think now. You get to tell, I decided that this book is the thing that I base my entire life off of now. And they go, oh, good. I actually know that book better than you. Do what I say. No. Repent. Okay. I don't like that you did a thing. And it's just, it's not what God wants. And remember, you said that you want to do what I think you should do that God wants. So now you got to do what I say. Do what I say. That's like, that's exactly how it works. You've agreed to live in accordance with something that allows people to fucking manipulate you. And they love it. Anyway. What's up? Top of the morning to you. What's your name? Fields? Hey, Fields. What's going on, dude? Are you like WC? Are you related to WC? It's probably like a reference that nobody knows. Jesus. Like, way too old, right? Do you know WC Fields? Everybody's like, fucking what? What's it? He's the guy. Oh. That's a terrible impression. But what do you always say? Look here, see? No, that was like more of a, God damn it, I can't think of. He was weird. I don't know. He had a very weird, very specific sense of humor back in like the 50s, 60s, I think 50s. WC Fields. Anyway, Yeah, go check him out. He was actually in Bugs Bunny. Remember, he had the big red nose. He kind of always sounded like he was fucking wasted, you know. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Greg, what's going on, Greg? How you doing? Greg said, fatherhood is an antiquated and toxic concept. If we all agree that we would all choose a bear rather than a man, then why are we all still allowing them near our children? That's a good, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. But I don't think the basis of the question is, would you rather leave your children with a man or a bear? Because it doesn't really fit, it doesn't really fit with the whole concept of why women specifically are afraid of men. Mainly because bears just do bear stuff. That's what it is. They don't switch gears and go, oh no, actually I'm fucking psycho. And now I'm going to wear your face. I was pretending to be normal and then now I'm not. That's something men do though, which is fucking terrifying. They always get to that part of the movie where they their eyes turn evil or whatever, But before that, they're like, hey, they were smiling too much and stuff. And you're like, there's something kind of off about this character. And then all of a sudden they switch gears like that. And you're like, oh, he's a bad guy. Okay. Yeah. That's how men can be. Bears don't do that. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if that helps what we're talking about at all. But what's up, Paragraph? How are we doing? Let's see. Paragraph said, how many men out here wearing faces? Ed Gein, Leatherface. I think they might be the same person, actually. Well, I think Leatherface was based on Ed Gein. But there's actually a lot more serial killers than you realize. We just don't publicize them that much anymore. But are you not familiar with the true crime circuit? Go listen to a podcast, buddy. Okay, have you not? There's these things called podcasts, and they're just about true crime. That's it. Just about serial killers all the time. But no, yeah, go check it out. There's a lot of stuff like that going on. I know, it's terrifying. It's best not to think about it because it'll, cause anxiety, which is I think another thing. And it's always women that love the true crime podcasts too. Just kind of don't listen to that. When you trying to give yourself a fucking panic attack, that's not good. That's not good. Don't do that to yourself. Let's see. Stan said, I haven't been wearing someone else's face since therapy. Well, I'm glad to see you had a breakthrough. No, not breaking through their face. That's not what I was talking about. So, a psychological breakthrough. Never forget it. You're just going to twist what I say. You're just going to twist my words all around. What you're going to do. Public office is like candy for serial killer. It would not surprise me in the least if all politicians, just left or right, I don't even care. They're all just serial killers. JT, it's work, no play makes Fozzie a dull bear. All work and no play makes Fozzie. That's a Stephen King reference. I get that one. That was good. I like that a lot. I just watched that movie the other. I probably wouldn't have even got this had I not just watched it a couple of days ago. Great movie though, really good. My God, why was there so much blood in that elevator? What were those ghosts doing? And how'd they get it to stay in there like that? It just seems like it's a lot more, just a lot more trouble than it's worth, But made for a great opening sequence though, and kind of just a random shot that it goes back to throughout the film. And I feel like that is one of the few movies that you can call a film. Anyway, Tsunami, what's going on? How you doing? It's good to see you. Said it helps us train how to engage with men. The bear thing? Is that what, okay. I can see that. That makes sense, But because can you want to specify how exactly? Break it down. We need to break it down. Let's see. Oh, gross. Okay. Nope, not going to put that one up. It's about to respond to the... Jeez Louise. It's crazy to me when people talk about this sort of thing. Talking about assault and stuff, and then acting like people, well, like they had a good time. What the hell are you talking about? No, they didn't. And just so you know, if somebody gets off, it doesn't mean they had a good time. You know, if you are in prison and Bubba puts his thing somewhere and you ejaculate, does that mean that you enjoyed it? They got you to do the thing. So did you enjoy Bubba taking your anal virginity? Yeah, it's funny when you put it in those terms, people are like, wait a second, hold up. Now I think I might understand. It's crazy. You got to put it in some like fucking gay thing for people to go, oh, wait a second. Oh, maybe you can't enjoy it, even if it, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Crazy. All right, y'all. Well, hey, thank y'all so much for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. And if you want to have a lot of fun, go to adamandeve.com. Get your butt some stuff. And stuff your butt at adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley, BRENTLY at checkout. And get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout. Get your butt some stuff. I already did that, you know. But it's still it's such a good tagline though. And stuff your butt. It's just good. Solid, you know. Anyway, but seriously, thanks so much for hanging out. And if you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com. Or if you want, you can hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. You know, any little bit of liking you can do. If you got any clicks to spare, I'd appreciate it. But no, if you want to support us, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or do a bunch of other shit, right? Go to patreon.com/Apostate and do a one-time thing on Cash Tap. Cash Tap, is that what it says? You know, on Cash App. And our cash tag is Punk Apostate. You can become a member if you hit that join button. Yeah, and you should do that because you get all sorts of extra perks and everything. Get like drunk streams and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, but if you want to email me, at punkapostate@gmail.com. You can also join the Discord. The link will be below, and follow me on all the socials. My pretty much Punk Apostate on everything. If you find it, you know, that's where I'll be. But yeah, all the links will be below anyway. So, but hey, you know, the main thing is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.